It's all about humanity. 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 It's all about humanity.
One.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to VL. We're back again, and I am your PvP caster, play-by-play, Jeff, for the evening, and I am joined by the one and the only Amy on the Calicaster. Say hello to everyone.
Hello, guys. Welcome to the stream.
Well, yeah, well, something that I need to mention just before, well, we're still waiting for people, is that Amy here not only is our Calicaster, I need to correct myself for the night, but he also put up the whole stream on Twitch for all of us. He's been working here for the past 2 hours very diligently, so just round of applause for him. I just want to shout out to him as well for bringing us this whole thing, and yeah.
Well, I
And
appreciate it.
he does not know what to say. He's getting she's getting really shy. Sorry. Is it it's your pronoun?
Yeah, she, her. Don't worry about it. I'm not.
Yeah, no, sorry about that.
No,
We
you're fine,
just
you're fine.
no, yeah, but like right now, I think this is it like the final game of the group stage? If you can break it, I mean, you're the Calicaster, you're the guy with the brain here, so break it down for us. What's the significance of this match? What's the stake? Yeah.
The winner of this match goes straight on into playoffs, where the loser has to play one more bracket group match to decide if they go through to playoffs or not. So it's going to be rather excited. We've got Stack Deck 6-0 in the regular season, looking pretty strong going into this, with Beavers being the underdogs. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is very much of a David and Goliath story. 6-0 undefeated in the group stage. They look really convincing, stacked act here. And Beavers, they have had some moments. There are some games they have been winning them against another team very, very convincingly. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see what kind of strategy they will pull out today, if there's any kind of pocket pick. Because yeah, whenever these kind of situation happens, when you are up against a team that is just better in terms of laning power, in terms of team fight, sometimes your best bet is to pull out something unexpected, is to pull out the Teemo top, and yeah, just play the unconventional composition to give yourself as much advantage as possible from draft. So yeah, it would be really interesting to see what they decide to pull out today and how they are gonna fare against this absolute powerhouse of a team that is Stack Deck.
Indeed. I think just from a get-go, from where I can see this match going, I think it will be a bit of a see how the bot lane of Stack Deck can really try and control this game. I know we've had some very, very big performances coming out of Trolulu in the mid lane, and from the other side, from Beavers, their top side looks completely insane. I think the battle in the mid lane will definitely be where this series goes. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I know we're just waiting on the players to get into the lobby and get ready. Are you excited?
Yeah. No, I mean, we're still waiting for the bot lane from the side of Stack Deck. It's only 5 minutes in, so please bear with us. Meanwhile, yeah, you have two very handsome, very beautiful casters entertaining you. How's your evening, man? How are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm ready to see some League of Legends, personally.
Mm-hmm.
It's all I've been thinking about all day is the series. So, how about you? How are you doing? How are you faring?
I think I played around 3 hours, which is a little bit too much, to be honest. 3 hours of League this afternoon. Just did not get out of the house, did not bother to cook, get myself some ready meal. So now I'm quite happy. Yeah, just like I don't have to tilt myself anymore on the Rift. Instead, I can watch watch other people tilt on the Rift and like just blaming the teammate, all that kind of drama. So it's good. And I mean, we're expecting some great League of Legends as well. So I'm really excited. Now I can take a back seat and just enjoy the show for myself.
Indeed. I'm just going through and doing some final looks over on those OP.GGs. Is there anything that you've seen that you think will come out tonight? Is there anything you're excited for? Any pocket picks you think they might bring up?
That's a very interesting question. Well, I mean, if you just look at op.gg for the first around 10 seconds, which is how long I've actually spent in total in preparation for tonight. No, but one thing that just strikes you first and foremost is the mid laner for, I think, Stacked Actor Trolulu. Yeah, an absolute, I think, a Malzahar one trick. He has 30-40 games of Malzahar just playing this one champion, climbing all the way to Diamond, I believe. I'm just pulling up the OPLGG here. Yeah, he has absolute Malzahar one trick. So, I mean, you have 5 bans on the enemy side, and I don't see the reason why they should let that champion through. It's really annoying. It's really hard to punish in lane, and always offer that a um, guaranteed stable CC to engage a team fight, to disengage from a team fight as well. So, and yeah, if anything, Trollulu must have a tremendous amount of expertise on this champion. So I would imagine that champion will be banned in the first rotation from the side of Beavers.
I may disagree. I think Malzahar is a very good champion, and obviously Trolulu has shown a lot of prowess on it. But I think with the state of middle lane at the moment, it's very hard to say early pick the Malzahar, especially when you are on that blue side going into game one. If we do see it come out, it will possibly be an answer on B5 or B4 in response to a mid lane pick on B3 on R3 or R4. I think there are a lot of mages that can really mess with Malzahar. He is a very response-based champion. And I know for a fact Trolulu has been performing on other mages like the Ziggs, the Zerath, so it will be interesting to see if we do see that Malzahar today.
I see. Yeah, no, that's a very interesting thing that we'll definitely be keeping a look at, as I think we have the final 2 players joining the lobby, so the game should be starting anytime soon, which is very exciting. But yeah, I think um uh
Oh, and
as
here
we
we
are
go.
jumping into the lobby, yeah, thanks, because I was really running out of things to say.
So, coming into the first ban, I'm expecting them to start targeting away at the jungle, and there goes Elise. Elise
There you
did get
go.
nerfed on this patch, but I think people are just more comfortable with getting it out. I think a response ban of Maokai or even Lee Sin. I think they should be putting some more prior bans into jungle. Jarvan's still open, Maokai's still open. There are some high priority bot lane picks to take off, like Zaya and Karma, even Ash, if people are still playing it in support. So how do you feel on this?
I think yeah. As you said, this is very the first ban from either team is targeting at the jungle. You can see, and as you said, the Annie is being played quite a lot in professional play around the world. I think as a support, offer that very stable engaged CC, and the Zillion will be banned away as well. This is a kind of like a signature champion for the side of Dorman, the support for Stack Decked. So banning
Indeed.
that away, just respect ban really, coming out from the side of Beavers.
And I think what it foretells is with the Zillion ban going, that Beavers may just be looking at a engage lane. As the Draven goes, I expect them to ban Jarvan here. I think Jarvan B1 is insanely insane at the moment. But I think the bans are really telegraphing where these two teams want to go. Annie is a bit of a stable mid pick, and if you're not that prowess on something like Syndra, it's quite hard to punish as Caitlyn comes out. So I do believe Beavers will be looking for a engaged bot lane as Sejuani first pick for its stack deck. Are we surprised?
Well, I mean, if you're watching Plenty of LEC now, you can this champion can be flexed into multiple positions. You can pull out the classic caps, Sejuani mid lane. That somehow is something more popular nowadays than the jungle Sejuani, but we still assume that will be in the jungle. So yeah, first pick, a lot of priority on that, and sort of a very supportive kind of champion in the jungle. Just want to play around his lanes, and the Janna will be the first pick actually for
Janna
the side
is
of Beavers here.
interesting. I think, especially when you're going to ban Zillion and Caitlyn, it feels a very, very weird that you're wanting to play a bit more of a supportive bot lane. But I mean, the second ban here will really like telegraph where they want to go. Oh, sorry, second pick. Jarvan still being open is something that I expect them to go for. I think it kind of shuts down most of the AD carry picks, but Kaiser, I'm not a fan of this. How do you feel?
Well, I mean, if the summoner name tells us anything, that would seem that it is already written in the books. The 80 carry here for Side of Beaver, his ID is Icathian Ray. So yeah, I would imagine that's his the champion that he maybe just more of a comfort pick. You know, he is really just the champion speaks to him from a spiritual level. But yeah, I mean it's a very short ranged and you don't really see Kaisa in pro play anymore now as well. It gets countered by a lot of these long range bot lane supports, I'd imagine. But yeah, no, it's just a very interesting pick in general.
I think the issue that arises here as well is, in fact, about what I was about to say. Varus and Karma response on blue. This Kaiser Jana lane is just not going to have fun. They don't have the range, they don't have the utility, and they don't have the damage to really deal with the amount of poke, the amount of pressure that the blue side bot lane will have. Lilia answer as well. I'm not a fan of it into Karma and Sejuani specifically. She doesn't really get to do too much, especially with her bot lane not having prio, so they're really going to have to look at banning out these very safe, very wave manipulating setup mids as that Malzahar ban comes out.
Yeah, like you said, this is more like more of a response kind of a champion. So they're betting away in the second phase. Maybe it indicates to us the million champion they want to play into. And yeah, obviously a very comfort champion for Trululu here, so banning that away, and the Veigar here in response as well.
And I think if Beavers really have any way of kind of setting themselves up going into the second half of this draft, they need to take away a mid laner that has wave clear, has early pressure, and they don't necessarily. I mean, they're gonna have to pick mid on 4 if they want any chance of surviving this draft, I think. Olaf ban, I can respect it in case they blind it, but realistically, if I'm thinking from Beaver's perspective, you've got to pick mid on 4, you've got to pick top on 5, and you've got to hope that both of your picks can really set up this Lilia. Otherwise, I feel like they're not really going to be able to do anything in the macro department. Yorick ban, I like, but I don't think it helps Beavers in this game.
Yeah, I mean, again, York here is a champion that the top laner here for Side of Beavers plays quite a lot. So again, just comfort picks ban all across the board. And yeah, like you said, the Ornn here again. I think if you are giving them any advice, they are not taking it, because this is just there's no priority for a top lane for bot lane, and the mid lane here will be the last pick, so they have to somehow salvage this draft, or the Lilia playing without priority, but without pressure in all of his lanes. It's gonna be really, really difficult.
I just think Sejuani going top here into Ornn, Vi coming out in the jungle, this is already looking very, very deadly for stacked deck. They just have to draft a mid laner that doesn't lose and has wave clear, and there it is, as Ziggs. If this gets locked in, it's going to be very, very hard for Beavers to play the rest of this draft. In fact, to play this game with a very favored matchup in the top, a very favored matchup in bot lane for the sides of stacked deck. And that Ziggs does get locked in. They do have a abundance of lockdown single target burst with the Karma rotations.
Yeah, I mean, it's if you talk about wave clear and having six is as safe as it goes, super long range damage, and
And
a
a
Reliant
Reliant
Soul with the
Soul.
last pick coming out here. Yeah, break it down. I mean, this is me not being very up to speed, but yeah, the reworked Reliant Soul here, we can see it appearing occasionally in pro play from again around the world. So how does this fit into the overall composition?
So, Aurelion Sol's a weird champion. Obviously, it received nerfs on the patch. I myself play a lot of Aurelion Sol, and this matchup is not that fun. Isol is a champ in its current state where he wants to absorb as much CS as he can, get as many stacks as he can for those late game team fights, and I think, especially with picking Isol on 5, it's not looking that good for Beavers. Like I was saying, the entire draft, there is not much they can really do. They are having to respond to any mistakes that Stack Deck kind of have to bring out. with the Vi lockdown, with the Varus chains, it's going to be very hard for them to play. And I think they have conceded pressure in all three lanes. I would comfortably put that I think Sack will be taking the first game. I think if Beavers have any way through this game, they have to get resources onto that ASOL. They have to not concede anything. I think they have to give up the first two dragons and the first herald. It's going to be very, very hard for this jungler from Beavers to play this through. How do you feel? What comes to your mind?
Yeah, I think, like you said, this is very much of a very much as sort of like a scaling comp. That's what they're aiming for. They're aiming for, or just the silver lining in there is that if we think, yeah, I mean, like you said, they need to concede a lot of resources early on, make sure they get to that later stage. The Ornn obviously have that scaling factor, Aurelion, So, and Kaisa here. Yeah, the silver lining here, if we just purely look at the optimistic side of things, is that your composition on the blues on the left side for Stack Decked is a lot of single target burst damage, but if the fight drags on, if we're talking about 30-minute, 40-minute 5-on-5 team fight, the composition from the side of Beaver is going to be able to provide a lot more prolonged sustained damage from the Kaisa, from the Aurelion Soul. And yeah, this is supposing. I mean, the Varus here is more. I mean, you could build unhit Varus, but still the more popular, and we are expecting this game for them. It will be the poke lethality Varus, so a lot sooner, a lot stronger spike earlier into the game. But yeah, like you said, if there is any way Beaver can get this game out of get a win out of this game, it would be stabilizing an early game and trying to prolong, trying to drag it into the 30-minute 5v5 team fight, and that's where they have a realistic chance of winning.
And I think it's just rough. I am expecting the six to build Leandries. I am expecting a tiny bit of damage or itemization on this AD carry on this Varus to deal with the Ornn. And like you said, they do have an insanely high chance of performing in the late game. But with this bot lane, this Kaiser who wants to go in, wants to have the CC, she's not really got that in her team. Lilia is unconditional. Is conditional. Ornn's very conditional. Aesol's very conditional. Janna's very conditional on them coming in. And the only two champions that are really coming forward are that Vi and that Sejuani, who really just want to make space for that Ziggs and Varus. So I think it's going to be rough. I think we really need to highlight the fact of how this bot lane goes. And if Lilia is able to get something off in the early game, if not, I think they'll slowly get pushed out of this game.
Yeah, I mean it's very much of a just a tempo dependent champion. You need to be ahead of the game. You need to be keeping up the pressure basically for the side of this Lilia jungle. So yeah, very often I think, again, if we look at pro play, it is picked into these melee as a counter. So again, it will be really interesting to see how they will be able to utilize that, as we are now getting into the game very, very quickly. And yeah, now we should sync up a little bit. Is it just me who's like lagging here?
No, I think there may have been a pause at the start of the game. I have no information on that, so just give it a moment. But
Oh, bear
oh,
with
there
us
it
for a
is.
second.
It is if you click ahead, it should work.
I
There we
see.
go. There we go.
Yeah. So now we're just taking a break to make sure both of us are synced up.
No, I think we are. If you just go, it should be at 8 seconds, and I'm ready to go. Should get stuck at 8. Yep, there we go.
Okay, so 10, 11,
Yep,
12.
we're there. Cool.
Cool.
So, welcome
We
to
are
our race,
on
guys. Beavers
Wow.
versus Stack Deck, game 1. As, like I was saying in that Champ Select and the bit of preview before the games, it's going to be very much on Lilia to win this game or to provide something for Red Side. And we can only hope that she can do that. So looking.
30 seconds until
It's a
minions
lot.
spawn.
Yeah, here is still a standard start here at the start of a game, guarding all the entrances, dropping down wards so they know the jungler is on the side of the map from the side of stack decked. And yeah, no early game shenanigans happening. Well, I mean, whenever this happens, just let's play a game. Who do you think will get first blood, and where is it gonna be?
I think if first blood's anywhere, it'll be in the spot lane of a early Vi gank, or necessarily in mid if they manage to get a satchel into Vi engage. I don't think first blood will come very quickly. I think it will be a per post 8 minutes type of game if both teams play this perfectly. It's very hard for them to for either team to really catch one off guard if they're both playing to their win cons. As a both leash start in the top side is a bit rough. I think both of these junglers don't need a leash, and I think both of these tanks would prefer to get a bit of prio as huge poke coming out in that bot lane.
Yeah, you can already see the power of this, especially level 1 Karma. The Mantra Q does so much damage, the slow that comes with it as well. So, and you can see the mid lane, the poke coming out from the Ziggs is absolutely disgusting, forcing
Honestly,
the Aurelion. So, yeah, back to 25% HP.
this was the issue I had going from these two lanes, from mid and bot, would be neither of them have that type of CC, or they have the type of range to either deal with the blue side composition, as the early pressure going to all three lanes, like I said, would happen. It's going to be rough.
Yeah, no, you can see mid lane and bot lane and even top lane as well. You can see that just a total advantage goes over to the side of stack deck. The tornado will hit him up. The shield goes on to Varus, so no harm, no foul. He's top lane trading going out as well. And then you can see yeah, the pressure goes all the way to the side of stack deck. 3 pushing lanes. Makes his Lilia's life really, really hard. He's still finishing up the bot side clear, so we'll see what he decides to do after this. But both jungler is pathing towards the bot side, and on the side of stack deck, their bot lane is very pushed in. So maybe we can see if the Lilia want to look for any kinds of opportunities for a gank.
I think it should be very telegraphed. I think both teams should know what the enemy jungle is doing here. Bot lane should be looking at ward, as they both have a ward in their inventory. This Lily is looking for the crab, knowing that she can't really do anything in this bot lane. And again, this comes up to where Beavers, they just don't have the CC set up for either Aurelion Sol or Lilia. Even Kaiser, to a degree, they needed that extra bit of security, I guess you could call it, with ACC ability, as they know that Lilia is on a reset. They know that Lilia has taken bot grab. Bot lane should have complete control. Sejuani should be able to take a trade as she hits the Q, breaking that E.
It's a stun as well. Very, very low health on the side of Warren. Still trading back. Next mini wave of Rise will be able to just dissuade that engage. But here, Catherine will be actually locked down by the W.
Late cleanse
Piercing arrow
as well.
goes through. Yeah, the summoner spell already blown for the side of Catherine. Barely survives on the teeth of his skin. So yeah, we'll be missing out this wave as well.
It's looking very, very rough now for the bot lane. Clem's late, forcibly used, even though I think you can just hold it if you're not going to press it earlier. Had to reset. Gonna get this slight fast push into the tower. Janna just trying to make sure that nothing can really happen here, but I think it's, like I said, it's rough. It's very rough.
Yeah, you can see already around 500-600 gold difference here, but the gank comes in. Actually, the Lilia
Double
put down
flash.
damage. First blood goes over to the side of Beavers, so a slimmer of hope actually in this early game. And that's what the come with the pressure, very pushed up in the lane, and the health is very low as well from all that trading early on. So they will be able to push this wave in, get a really nice back, but they have to be careful. The Or Aggressive and dying, heals up. Sunder is very low as well. Want to look for that kill, but the Lilia will be stopped by the Sejuani, excuse me. And Vi goes forward, want to look for the kill as well. 1-for-1, traded back. and Mega Inferno Bomb from the mid lane just to seal off the exit. The Blast Cone over the wall, so Lilia will be making the grand escape, jumping and hopping out of there. So it
she's
is
out as
1 for
well.
1 in the end of the day.
And I think this is where I mentioned that it should be coming that first blood after 8 minutes of both teams had played perfectly, but Sejuani just not respecting the fact that they know Lilia had full cleared, they know she took the bot crab. The only place Lilia could have been at that moment was the top lane, so it is a pretty good timing for Lilia to gank, but I think it's a big blunder from that Sejuani as an engage onto bot lane.
Huge trade coming out here in favor of side of stack deck. Again, just that Varus actually pressed really low on health bar as well. The Karma will walk forward. The shield negates the Q poke. But yeah, they still have absolute control over this lane. The side of Beavers, they try to fight back, and but yeah, still now not really being able to approach the lane. Already 10 CS up on the side of Varus as well.
And I think the CS lead will just keep growing and growing, especially both the mid and top as
away from the crowd, flashes away. The tip of the arrow gets him, and 2v2 kill coming out from bot lane. The Kai'Sa still need to stay here as well. After the wave is pushing in, have to be really careful. But yeah, that's just how rough this bot lane has been for the side of Beavers. That was not fun at all.
And I think this should just be the dragon for Stack Deck. I think there's not much they can really do to answer, and this is why I was a little concerned about the Janna pick going into it. It's looking a bit rough onshoring on mid. Lilia's top is going to be this first dragon going over to Stack Deck as a almost 2k gold lead is forming.
Yeah, 7 minutes into the game, they are still steadily growing. I think the good thing is, again, we have been saying praises for the side of Stack Deck, but for the side of Beaver, yeah, the good news is, I guess, they are not losing horrendously in the early game. Sure, every lane is pressured, every lane is losing priority over to the side of their opponents, but they managed to make a successful top play out of that. The scoreline is 2 for 2, and they have the scaling advantage. Speaking of that, the Leah want to look for opportunity. But yeah, no, we were saying it could have gone worse. Like we were talking about pre-draft, as the Warren go for engage actually will be locked down. This tank. This is just a sausage fight on the top side that we don't really have to look at this. It's going on forever, but in the jungle, there will be... Yeah. There comes Cease and Disease, lock him down and punches him to the ground. So Alpha That here gives out his life as well. On the top side, have to stop this Herald in response. The rest of the team gathers around Ziggs in support, and they will be taking this Herald for themselves. So early objectives goes over the Stack Deck all across the board.
And that's just something that gets shown off by having that lane prior. I mean, Karma's able to happily move up now to ensure that they're getting this Herald, but complete control over the mid lane stopped even Lilia from being able to move up to answer this wet noodle fight that was happening in top. And like I started saying in draft, and like the trend is going, Beavers really need to make something happen. They need to be a little creative. If it be Lilia lane ganking the bot lane, trying to get a flash Q onto this Varus, or attempting to maybe influx the XP lead towards Ornn somehow, but it's looking rough, and every second that passes gets rougher and rougher. Karma dodging.
Yeah, speaking of looking for play on the bot side, they excuse me, Lilia does have his ultimate up and ready. But yeah, we'll be just posturing, looking for opportunities. Still keeping this game in fine balance. Almost 2k gold lead up, though, for the side of Stack Deck. So we're going to see how they are willing to stretch this lead. They have the Herald in them, I believe. So yeah, looking for a lane. Perhaps bot lane, if they want to overextend that lead as well. Just to look for play. You can see the Aurelion Soul actually hovering on the bot side as well. They really want to improve the situation. The Q doesn't hit. Lilia is still hanging around. Vi is on top side, though. They don't have to worry about it too much. Here comes Aurelion Soul from across the screen. And yeah, results in nothing. The bot lane here for the side of Stack Deck playing very safe and absorbing a lot of pressure. You can see the mid lane are getting played. The rest of the team, they're getting advantage everywhere else around the map.
And I think this is where this is where Beavers have to try and pressure. I mean, most of this gold lead is on this Varus, as that CS lead grows to 22. They're really getting pushed out of the game completely, and I think even though they do have that security of those ornaments and the Aurelion Soul hitting at least 300 Stardust at 30 minutes, it's going to be rough to get there, especially with Dragon coming up in a minute, minute 30. We're going to just have to see where Lilia kind of plays this. It's on them to... How do I word this? It's on them to make a play while being 3 farming lanes with a farming jungle as the flash Q comes
Awesome,
out.
their core. Here comes the Oracle. Season to Seas, focus on to Lilia. He is very, very brittle. Get taken down right there and right on Megan in front of bomb.
Yep.
Hits on the right center. The Ignite still taking down on Ken. Can he walk away? One more will be able to do it. The bomb from downtown. Trolulu has taken that kill. 2 quick kills go over the side of Stag Dag. They found the opportunity to invade the jungle, and they
Herald's
were able to
coming down.
get so much out of this.
And I think there should just be a mid tower here into a reset Dragon. They have complete control over the mid lane. He's looking for the satchel, gets the satchel off. So, again, like I said, 3 lanes without prio is really starting to show off by being able to happily walk into their top side and catch the Aurelion Soul with an ult, a flash Q. And it has just been a 6 plates advantage, 3 kills for the side of Stack Deck.
Yeah, everything really going towards their favor. And yeah, up until that point, the game seems like it's still hanging in like quite a fine balance. But after this point, that successful play, they were able to get the mid-tier 1 out of it as well. The Diggs, that satchel, the power of that is always very, very significant. So yeah, it seems like all of a sudden the game is wide open. They have all the initiatives. Now the Dragon is spawning. This is the second Drake at 12 minutes of the game, so they can start this stacking nice and early. Yeah, in response to that scaling factor, you know, if the enemy team really want to drag this out, they always have that threat for like a 3rd Drake, a 4th Drake. The enemy team has to come to you to fight, even though they are weaker, and as they are. So this is going to be the Hextech Drake slaying as well. We will very soon to see what Dragon Soul this is for this side.
So
this is...
onto the ult at the Aesol.
Goes forward, and I get in front of bomb. The whole combo cannot escape from it. Again, Aurelion Soul just steps 1 step too far in the mid lane. Does not own this side of the map at all. Here comes the Swan. He goes forward. Glacial Prison goes in. Luton Lullaby will disengage the rest of the enemy team. So much damage coming out from the Zig. The Satchel, the alley-oop doesn't really hit that bomb, but still so much damage, so much pressure coming out from the Ziggs and from the rest of the Stack Deck team as well. The top side is absolutely making everything work here in this game.
And I think this is where we have to go back to the highlights for both teams. They do have this incredible mid-jungle synergy on the blue side, on Stack Deck, and really it's on Lilia to try and make a play, but even moving Sejuani down for that Dragon as they look for Ord here, I think it's...
Well,
it's
be really careful, getting bursted down faster than anything we could have ever seen. And yeah, that's supposed to be a tank, but the armor reduction from the side of Device passive has been so effective. They take down the Orn. He couldn't really get to his tier 1 turret.
And the
we'll be taking that down the top side.
Sejuani, they're just too strong. I mean, it's looking rougher and rougher, like I keep saying, and if there's anything that's really going to come out, it's swapping this bot lane over, probably sending Aesol top while there's still a tower, and trying to free some lanes, trying to do whatever you can to stop as many resources as going into Stack Deck's pockets. I mean, you can see Varus just hard shoving this wave into possibly a reset. Herald's coming up now, and you've really got to think, like, there's no tower for Aesol to hide in, and mid lane, you can't step up there. I mean, remembering back to Vi just being able to Q ult him, and again, it is really, really rough. I think the only thing I would suggest in this game state is trying and send your bot lane top, try and get a tower, try and do something on the opposite side of the map, try and track them, but it really seems like they don't know what to do here.
Yeah, well, the Oracle is being caught in the mid lane. Hits absolutely nothing but air, so that engage 2 is gone for the Herald fight.
Very good sidestepping by Charlie Lear.
Well, speaking of, will be just comboed in. The Moonstone actually makes a grand escape.
Oh,
The
by the
piercing
arrow.
arrow from downtown takes down that kill as well. So 8-2 on the side of kill count, and 4-man, 5-man strong siege onto the mid tier 2 turret. The Kaiser is having some free time down in the bot lane, but the rest of the team has to respond to that. They have the Herald. They can easily take 2 turrets off of Beavers from this, so they have to be very, very careful.
I think Kaiser probably should have stayed bot there with Lilier and just tried to get a tower in response. I think it's in their best interest to lose mid tower and lose mid inhib here as that Herald gets the second charge off. They really need, and I will not stress this enough, they really need a way back into this game. If it be losing an inhib just so they get 5 minutes of guaranteed denied experience or denied gold for the side of stack deck, and with the Baron coming up in 3 minutes, the gold lead at almost 10k at 60 minutes into the game, it is, and I will say it again, looking very rough.
Yeah, like slowly but surely. Well, maybe not even slowly. It's just the game is just slipping away from him. You can see how much damage the 6 was able to do onto an Ornn. You can see have to be very, very careful. Have to flash away. Season these goes all the way in down to the turret. The Magnet Inferno Bomb. The Lilting Lullaby will lock him down under the turret, but we'll be able to flash away. And here comes the Karma from the side. We'll be able to lock him down. One more bomb. Actually goes a little bit wide, but doesn't really matter. The Satchel gets him in the end. Karma still going. Want to look for more kill, but just
very
okay.
Nice
Getting rid of the
from
snipe from downtown actually takes down that kill. So just one good thing that goes over to Beavers, but they are still losing everything everywhere on the map.
And I mean, Isol's got the skies to send. If they're going to do anything, they've got that timer of having that big ultimate to play around. But are they too far behind? Do Sac Deck have all of the pressure on the map? Yes, I would say they do, and I think if they're going to do anything, they have to look at this dragon or the next one. They have to look at the Baron spawning in 2 minutes as Ornn ult comes out missing these Ziggs, but like I said, it's they seem too slow to a play, if you see where I'm coming from. It's like they're almost reacting at, like they're making a play after they see it, right?
Well, the 1v1 between the Ziggs and the Ornn. The Mega Inferno Bomb drops on top of his own head. Ornn is still going. The rest of the Meaning Wave is actually doing so much damage, and he cannot do this anymore. Running out of mana, actually. The last spell takes him down. A valiant effort, but here in the end, it always end up the same. For the side of Stack Deck, they would take down another kill and another day in the office. Just as easy as that.
I think this might be a catch onto Lilia if she doesn't get out of there quickly. Will they chase? No. I think they give it up here. Yeah.
Well, still got those happy feet. Will be able to run away. But that's as much as they can do right now, because really, they don't have any kinds of ability. They don't have any kinds of power to stand toe-to-toe with the rest of the team. Yeah, this is one of those points where, as casters, we are literally saying, okay, this is really bad, that is really bad, okay, there's no hope. But still, if you think about it, optimistically, what can they do to get back into the game?
I still think Beavers have a very good chance of getting some sort of ult combo off. I do, like I was saying before, I think they should try and give this mid inhib up without losing too much. They do have the Skies Descend on that Aurelian Soul. They do have at least one item completed on majority of the champions. Janna hopefully going for a Moonstone to give them some sort of hope in these team fights, but it's looking rough as that second item, the Death Cap, finished on Ziggs, and really, they really have to catch someone. And it's a matter of them figuring it out.
Yeah, I mean, as a Ziggs player, it's one of the best feelings when you can just go straight. It's second item, Death Cap, is, you know, you are a very rich boy, so that's one of the best feelings, and this Ziggs will be pumping out so much damage at this point of the fight. See, just will be throwing out the bomb. Will be taking the blue buff for himself as well. But Baron is going down very, very quickly. I don't think Sada Beavers actually know this is happening. So they're still just trying to clear out the midway. Baron down to 3,000 health, 2,000 health, and they will be for the side of Stack Deck. They will be taking down this objective 20 minutes on spawn. That's how ahead they are at this point of the game.
And I mean, for Beavers, you just have to feel bad, the pressure they are probably feeling at the moment. I mean, you can just see it by observing the minimap. The waves, just the resources just being given away for free to those dying waves with no one wanting to walk. They're too afraid that they're going to get caught out, and they give away that Baron. And I think this game could be over in the next 3 minutes. It could be very, very, very rough for the sides of Beavers, especially going into the next game. And I really, really hope that they manage to get some sort of team fight, that they manage to get some sort of pick with that Sky's Descend, with Ornn's ultimate. And I think they have to make a last stand, if not at this inhibitor, at those Nexus towers.
Yeah, I mean, they have to have a clear target selection. They obviously have a lot of very powerful crowd CC tools. Like you said, the Lilting Lullaby, the Falling Sky. I probably should know the name of that. But as we speak, is the Glacial Prison actually locks down Lilia. Absolutely beautiful Ornhor across the team. A lot of CC goes in. Frontline is tanking up. This Sejuani is so hard to kill. But this 5v5 is going relatively well. Sejuani has to flash away. Captain Ren here putting out some damage. And Ornn has to be careful. Will be knocked up. Vi goes forward. The bomb actually takes down the kill together with the piercing arrow from the virus. And Parry Power minion still pushing on. TP comes in from the side of Sejuani. Full health. Ready to tank up another 5 seconds of the entire enemy team's damage output. They have to be careful. This is Bear Nexus, and that will be game 1 at 22 minute. Convincing win for the side of Stag Deck.
And I think they slowly lost control of the game. I mean, just looking at the graph, and even the board, after that first dragon, the gates kind of just widened and widened and widened, and it all goes back to that champ select where they drafted 3 lanes without any prior into the sides of Stack Deck with a farming jungler, and it looked rough.
Yeah, I mean, that's the again. I think as much as we can say about the individual skills and the laning prowess of these players, it's very much looking like one of those games where from the start, from the get-go, you weren't given the basic tools to empower you to make plays in this game. All you're counting out is towards late game scaling. And just, as we've seen so many times, that just simply doesn't work. This game ended in 22 minutes. So yeah, I think like for the side of Beavers, they probably have a lot of things to take back into the break room. You know, think about the draft, because yeah, I feel like they haven't been able to show us any of their team play or anything they can do as a team at all. Being hindered by this draft, being hindered by this very late game orientated draft. So yeah, a lot of adjustment. Hopefully they can take into this break, and hopefully, yeah, we'll see a brand new, fresh look of this team in game 2.
Hi, indeed. So we'll be back in a few moments. So grab a snack, grab a drink, and get ready for this game 2
coming up. You gotta get some
up.
water.
Will Beavers get that bounce back, or will Stack Deck close up the series? We'll just have to see.
We'll find out.
and forth has got me so messed up. Don't ignore the signs. We've had enough of the whole damn thing that we got going. You hold the strings without me knowing. Why do I have to suffer through the thinking? Why do I have the feeling that we're sinking? I need to find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way out. Find a way. Find a way out. Find a way. Find a way out. What's all this for? It's got me turned around, but I can't ignore the feelings that I found in this whole damn thing that we got going. You hold the strings without me knowing. Why do I have to suffer through the thinking? Why do I have the feeling that we're sinking? I need to find a way. Find a way. Find a way. Find a way out. Find a way out. Find a way out. Find a way out. Find a way out.
Bring it back now. I got the moves. Hey. Hold up.
Well, welcome back. That was a slightly short break. You got some water with a toilet.
And I've got a nice glass of lemonade. What about you?
Are those fresh made or are those just store bought?
It is in fact store bought. I wish
Ah,
I had
yeah,
some
yeah.
lemons to squeeze into a glass with a bit of soda
Ooh.
water, but I've got my jelly tots, I've got my lemonade, and I'm ready to see this game too.
Hey, it might be the last one, so you might treat yourself to it. It might be a doozy, you know. But yeah, no, obviously from a side from a caster perspective, we obviously want to see the series go to full length. You know, Beavers make their comeback. You know, we want to see a fresh look from them. You know, because yeah, from a team perspective, you can be this and this. They are the David in this scenario. It can get very intimidated, especially you lose game one in such a fashion. 22 minutes. There is nothing, literally nothing going on for your side. So yeah, really, I think a lot from strategy, but mental reset is equally important. So let's see if they can put that game aside and go into game 2 just with a fresh man side and looking strong. So, and we're getting to big and bad.
And we're into draft, and really, like I was hinting at game 1, I do hope they go into these draft adaptations that they do draft something with a little more oomph to it, I guess is the best way, is that Lee Sin Ban comes out again, Annie on the side of Stack Deck, and Beavers, they've got to play to their strengths. Akati and Rain looked strong, looked like they were trying to grasp the situation towards the end of that game, and I think if they're going to do anything in the draft adaptations that do need to come out, if it be a Nautilus's support, if it be one of those strong AD carriers that likes to fight, I would hopefully see a Karma ban here, or even adapt yourself to the way that Stack Deck played. Maybe pick the Karma, pick the Varus as a Lee Sin Zillion and mimic from the game 1.
Yeah, I mean the biggest takeaway from first game is that they have no priority. They have no they have no way to initiate to do what they want to do pre 20 minutes of game, let's say. So that largely comes from draft, and we want to see, yeah, like you said, we want to see if we want to see the Nautilus, we want to see disengaged supports, we want to see junglers who can go for these plays and take more initiatives. But this, because yeah, like these few patches is very much about the early game. It's very much about snowballing, bot lane focus, kind of a meta. So yeah, already you can see the Vi learning from last game.
I
to
like
sort of like
this.
take a play out of the enemy's playbook. Just pick the Vi for yourself.
Like this. Malzahar B1. Oh no. Oh, okay. So I can see where this draft is already going. Malzahar in response with the Wukong, they're gonna have this very, very lockdowny type comp for the red side, where Blue have already like shown their hand. They picked Vi. I think it's very risky for them to be one Vi. I think again Karma's open. I think Jarvan's open. I think Zaya's open. Even the Varus, but they've got to respond with a mid laner that is able to deal with Malzahar, and it's looking rough already. I don't know how to say it. Veigar coming out is a very good pick in the situation of it does stop that Wukong, but I don't think I like it as a response to Malzahar. And the 2v2 mid, the storylining from this is already looking pretty good. Will they be able to Malzahar ult the Vi on the way in, or will they be able to cage down Wukong and KO him before it's too late? And I think if you're going to do anything, you pick the Karma here, you pick the Varus, you try and break it up as the Varus comes out. And honestly, if I'm Stack Deck here, I handshake and we pick, I don't know, Ashe, we pick Karma, we pick even the Nautilus or something like an Engage lane, ban out that Karma in second rotation and really play to our strengths, because the only thing stopping Stack Deck from going in right now is the Veigar.
Yeah, they do need some kind of, will be the Jinx actually. So you don't really see this champ like pick that much again in pro play. But yeah, obviously you have his very long range and towards the scaling side of things. So definitely, yeah, like we said, Varus, the poke variant, lethality variants of it will be having a much sooner spike than the opposite side of this.
And I think the strengths of Jinx right now is she's very underrated. She has some very good matchups, and with a lot of the priority AD carries getting bounced down a peg, she does get enabled, but I don't know if I'm a fan of it. I mean, you're into Vi, you're into Varus, and yes, you do have the Malzahar and the Wukong to answer that Vi. It is going to be, can this Jinx play perfectly? Can this Jinx mimic kind of what they did in game 1 and snuff them out, really? But Karma's still open. I don't know. Lulu Ban is gone. We've got Yorick and Nami for the side of Stack Deck, and I'm a little worried if Beavers don't ban Karma here. I think Karma Jinx into Varus is very, very rough. I don't think there's a support you can really answer into them. Morgana value is looking pretty good here as well. Karma going. So I can only suspect that you pick support on 4, you pick something like Morgana. Nautilus could be an option. Alistar is something that I like here, but I think you don't see enough to pick Alistar. I think realistically, Alistar has become more and more as an R5 support champion as Kassadin comes out.
Right.
There's a Kassadin, right?
Well, I mean, if what I don't think. Oh, let's check. We're just gonna check if there is any kinds of. No, I mean sometimes it would be because the player doesn't have the champion, so we were having.
That's a Kassadin. That makes me believe that this Malzahar is going top. It Malzahar support used to be a very good answer into enchanters back in the day. If you think back into season 6, season 7, around the time Misfortune was starting to get picked in support, and I think Malzahar could be interesting. It really depends if they can flex it top and support. They do need to answer with a tank, and I do believe Malzahar will possibly go into this Olaf, but he has the Unstoppable in his ultimate. Janna coming out. I mean, I'm preferring Beavers draft to last game. I can say that much. It feels like they've got a lot more pressure as that Seraphine comes out, and if it is a Seraphine, Stack deck are looking pretty rough with no frontline into Olaf Virus. It is really going to be, can you dodge? Can you lock down this virus while keeping yourself safe from the Olaf? So it is Malzahar top.
Yeah, that looks again unorthodox to say the best. Maybe the first game gave them a little confidence. They want to try something. Yeah, they want to try something out, and having that third game as a backup. But yeah, again, like you said, the Beavers draw from this game looking a lot better, answering a lot of the targeting a lot of weakness from the side of enemy team. The Jinx mobile AD carry, and Olaf can run it down. You have Varus being protected. Janna is the queen of disengage. So yeah, it's gonna be quite hard for the side of enemy team with the Veigar cage as well, for the Wukong, for the Cassin to get onto the enemy carries. So again, already looking a lot better than the last game.
I'm a little concerned in this Janna pick. Again, we're drafting Janna into very little engage, or specifically one champion. They haven't really got the CC for the Kassadin. They've only really got Veigar cage, which you can hop out of. And like I was saying in last draft, it does look a bit rough. I mean, they have the Olaf this game, and they are playing to their strengths of Alpha's Olaf. So we can only hope that Vipass top manages to get something on that Malzahar, but it's an interesting one. I disagree with both support picks of both teams, and really, I would have preferred the Malzahar going support and maybe playing something that could match the Olaf, maybe the Riven with Ignite, or trying to pick Camille, I guess. Like, it's hard to say.
No, yeah. Again, I think both teams making changes here in the draft, which makes this game that much more interesting. I think both of us a lot more excited, especially for Beavers going to this. And yeah. So how is the top matchup here for the Malzahar? I mean, Olaf obviously have the ability to run it down, but Malzahar also can play very safe from distance. So yeah, so top lane, what should we expect for this top lane matchup? I'm quite curious.
I can only speculate because it's not a traditional matchup in the top lane, but if
Yeah.
Olaf Q does not kill or defeat these the voidlings from the Malzahar in one hit as it goes all the way through them, then I think it could be quite difficult for him. If it does KO or knock out these voidlings, then I think it becomes pretty rough for Malzahar because obviously you can just R and keep on top of him. I'm not sure how the silence interaction would work. But I do think that Malzahar does have that gank setup enabled for the Olaf, for the Wukong as well. I do think it is going to be favored by Olaf. I don't think there's many champions in this game that can really deal with him. I think the jungle matchup is probably where my excitement is a little, because it is the Vi, obviously on a different team this game, but they have both got options to gank. They've both got lanes that they're actually able to affect this game. And I'm very interested to see how this mid lane matchup goes, because it is two scaling picks. So one comes online a little sooner than the other, and if Kassadin starts getting ahead, I think it's going to be very hard for them to play, but I could say the exact same thing for the Olaf.
Well, so yeah, both of these teams have their very clear win cons. They're very clear, sort of like the side of the map they want to play towards. And yeah, for us, that would be very interesting to see as we are loading into the game, ready for game 2 between Stacked Axe and Beavers.
And again, I will not stress it enough. The Beavers really need to try and control the early game. I think if the side of Stacked Deck manages to get some sort of pressure or some sort of prior or some sort of lead, I think they're slowly just going to fall out of this game again.
Yeah, again, well, this time around they are equipped with a lot more tools to do so. I mean, especially their own team comp, but especially the enemy team's team comp as well. They do have the Kassadin, do have the Malzahar. So yeah, these kind of champions, the Wukong as well, they're not gonna be a huge threat before level 6. Very much playing very passively as well. So that's again, the silver lining for the side of Beavers to see if they can make more things happen this time around in the early game. Yeah, and we are loading into the game. Again, do we need to sync up for this? 11 seconds?
I think it's not paused. I think 14, 15.
Yeah, that's
we're good to
totally
go.
right. That's absolutely perfect.
So, I do want to start and speak about the item choices at the beginning of this game. I think TS Dot and Vagar is a very good adaptation here, especially into the Kassadin matchup. I'm not a fan of this longsword 3 pots on Jinx. I think she would prefer the HP from Doran Shield, but maybe she wants to just get that mythic first. Seraphine looking for maybe a mana flow band or a ward. So ward comes down in top river.
The Manifold Band.
They're trading gold.
Well, that's a statement. It's not about the damage. It's not about the benefit. It's about making a statement. So both of these supports will be able to back actually picking up. I'm not sure if the Seraphine can actually pick up a ward. That would be absolutely ginormous.
No, they both got 40 gold from it. I am just trying to see Janna not having the mana flow band as Seraphine does is going to favor this into the side of side of Stack Deck. I mean, it's only slight, but 25 mana scaling up to 250 is going to be maybe a little problematic, and maybe actually deals with this poke from the Varus or these trades that they could pull out with the Tornado and Varus Q combo. As I like the adaptation from Stack Deck, I like them starting in lane in all 3 lanes this time, and Wukong going for that leashless. I'm slightly looking forward to see if Wukong can do the 315 leashless with proper micro, so that is something I'll definitely look forward to. Is Olaf slightly controlling this lane in the early game, which is what I would presume.
Yeah, have a lot more sustain, and the level 1 Malzahar doesn't really have anything to keep himself safe. Doesn't really have anything to in terms of like a trading tool. So yeah, we'll be able to just push that wave in, get a level 2 first. You can see the glacial argument actually goes on to the Seraphine, but you can see again bottling domination still a second game around. This Beavers bottling is getting pushed out, but here
Very
comes
good
the
game.
knockdown. We'll be able to just get him under the turret. One more auto. We'll be able to do it. Flashes away.
Oh my!
Outplayed.
Dear.
First blood comes out from the
Wukong responding.
And Sunderer has to
It's
come
a
and flashes
flashy.
forward. Flash for flash. A lot of summoner spawns. They still want to go for this level 3 on the side of Sunderer, level 2 on the side of Vi. This is going to be a rough jungle matchup in the early on. And just Malzahar, you can see, turned this fight around, giving his team a huge advantage on the top side.
And I think it is just a massive blunder from Beavers. I think if you don't get the flash instantly, the longer that play takes, it's riskier and riskier as you are level 2. You don't have that immediate follow-up. Missing the axe with Olaf, it's a huge blunder. I mean, as soon as you flash on Olaf, if you don't kill him instantly, he's just going to flash, and It is going to flip this matchup. I mean, Olaf when behind is quite punishable, especially for a mage. And we're just going to have to see a Dark Seal picked up by two members on sack deck. And maybe they're wanting to just try and snowball the game like they did in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, again, the turns this top lane matchup all the way around because again you can see Olaf having the pressure was really valuable. They are going for and that if that dive ward that would have been absolutely and 2-man lockup actually here. Vi is on the bot side looking for a play. The rest of the team is responding. Wukong is on the bot side as well. But yeah, so that just flip. You can see the Malzahar here have the control of the lane. We'll be able to just have this perma pushed in against the Olaf. There's very little thing you can do as well, throwing out the spells. The mana going a little bit low. But yeah, that is absolutely instrumental actually for the early game for the side of Stack Deck here. Just well played
What I'd like
individual
to see,
abilities.
What I'd like to see on this Malzahar is an early Oblivion Orb buy. I know it's pretty frowned upon, but especially when you've got this lead already, you're against an Olaf with Doran Shield, and I'm just going to check, does he have conditioning? He doesn't, so this is an extra value of stuffing out that Doran Shield, but I'm concerned for the fact for Beavers that if they start falling behind or they start getting their resources cut, will the game just slowly spiral out of control like it did last game? Vi is doing telegraph pathing, she is doing telegraph ganks, and she's trying to be a little unique on the dragon. No one seems to have spotted her E on the crab, so if they get this dragon, it's pretty huge. I mean, first dragon over, even though it is... I mean, Chemtech's pretty good as a one-off. It's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's taking slowly, but the Wukong is on the other side of the rift, so they will know this is happening. And yeah, bot lane here is trying their best to push up as far as possible so that they can support the jungler. And yeah, still going relatively even. You can see this early lane, the damage really comes out of, like you said, this Janna pick is not really doing much. A lot of poke comes out from Seraphine, the trading 2v2. But yeah, you can see the CS here still relatively even. 5 CS up for the side of Jinx. That just speaks to the individual abilities from the side of Stack Deck. They're just individually slightly better players controlling this lane, and then yeah, just getting that Jinx to the later stage become more of a team fight threat than this Varus could ever be.
And there are some concerns arising for the side of Stack Deck. Malzahar is very, very overstaying his welcome. If Olaf does hit that 6 soon, it could be quite problematic if you can't time the ultimate correctly. Is it 6 coming out on Olaf? I expect them to have some sort of dance around the top side for a fight. I mean, Wukong's just casually walking away here, but they need to make a play. They need to get that control back. Otherwise, well, bot lane's already ahead. They get a good tempo reset. The first dragon is on Beaver's side, but like I'm saying, I'm a little worried for them.
Yeah, this is looking like the same old story all over again. Exactly what we've seen in the first game. Just them slowly but surely losing control over the game. And one team fight in the jungle invade, they were not able to respond, and the enemy team makes a huge play, goes into the turret, goes into everything. Just the tempo in full swing on the side of Stack Deck. So Beaver here has to make a play. They do have the tools to do so. This Vi is almost level 6, I believe, so that Season Disease always just a very long range. But he speaks of making
engaging.
the Ragnarok goes in, flashes into the bush.
He's
has to
not
be
able
really,
to
really
continue his
careful. Yeah, the Ragnarok runs out. The Ghost is soon as well. So both Summoner spells blown for the side of Olaf. Doesn't really result in much. Gasiko here on the top side playing it calm and collected. We'll be able to just go for a back after this.
And I think this is where burning the flashes comes as a problem, is I think engage onto bot side.
Speaking of more in action, Vi will be focused down, locked down, and Trollulu actually takes down the kill. So Kassadin will be accelerated here. Great roam as he actually pushes the wave ahead of the Veigar. So yeah, they're looking for this. Do they want to look for a redive? Doesn't really have the Wukong ultimate anymore. I don't think so. So we'll be just taking that kill at the end of the day. But still, Tempo goes for the side of Stack Deck, exactly like it was 1 game ago.
And I think my concerns are slightly being realized. Vega is going for the Rod of Ages, which makes me fear more and more that they're just going to look at scaling again, and I don't want them to. I don't think they can. I think if they scale into Malzahar, Jinx, Kassadin, you're just not gonna play. Olaf being as behind as he is after that really bad dive level 2 is another engaged Kassadin jumping over the wall.
Here comes a Kassadin again. Wukong follows his up. Vi has to walk away. Flashes forward. Exhaust goes on a Kassadin. But this is going to be a 4 versus 3.
Huge super mega death rocket.
Hits from downtown right on the spot. So take them down under the turret. The execution damage is so much as well. I'm swear there's like 20% health. It will be just taken down in 1 skill shot. So the rest side jungle here for the side of Beavers belongs fully the property of Stash Deck. You can see the Wukong take away the red buff, and they just do not own that side of the map anymore. Having full control, the spot lane for the side of Beavers is having a really rough time as well, knowing there's 2 people coming as well. They will be spotted out by a ward, but I don't think they really care. Can they go for this dive? They have to be really careful. This Janna is not going to be dodging away from the charm, actually. They have to be this very carefully. 1 more rocket will be able to do so. Flashes blown all across the screen. So well played. Well, I mean, terribly executed, really, from the side of Stat Deck. But both bot laning here for the side of Beavers will be able to survive in the end of the day.
And I really, even though I have been hopping on and, you know, putting these Beavers down, I think the movement, the sidesteps, the awareness of the bot lane that they have to dodge the Seraphino, that they have to be willing to walk forward. Not many players would go for it, and even though they're behind, and even though I think we've highlighted it, there is a bit of difference between these players. Let's just engage onto buy.
Well, it will be just taken down. This time is spotted. This time he cannot sneak this through. The Vicar actually staying around. The Olaf is here as well. Doesn't really have a lot of mana to work with. 3 men versus 2. So again, Beaver have to get this away. The Herald over to the side of Stat Deck. Their first objective of the game. And we'll see how they're going to use this to accelerate their early game leads.
And I feel like there is this thing called a caster's curse, honestly. Every time I've spoken about Beavers in this series doing well, they manage to just lose it, fumble. And again, it is looking like the last game right now where they need to get resources and they need to get items, but giving the enemy team time to also get items and resources is bad, especially with the 2 team comps drafted.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just I don't think I've seen one season disease the Vi Ultimate come out yet, because every time the camera pans to the anime jungler, Tears Garo actually stows the dragon. Well, honestly, we don't really know who to root for at this point anymore. If we're seeing praises, then the other team is gonna get that. We're very lucky for them.
I'm very concerned. I mean, that shouldn't happen, but very well played to Kathy and Rain for that steal. But I feel like every good thing that we see, we all I'll always find something else to put these Beavers down on. I mean, just looking at the itemization alone, we've got Rod of Ages Vega, we've got Ninja Tabby Olaf into Malzahar. I don't know what to say, I don't know what to do here. I think the only thing that I can really suggest is that they try and give gold to this Olaf, but I think it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough.
When you speak, I can hear visible pain coming out of your voice, and that's just the state of a game now, as they are again being formed out of their bottom turret. Wukong out goes Sun, exhaust cast in, lockdown, and all the kitchen things thrown at this bot lane duo. It will be a 1 for 2 as Wukong dies under the turret. But there's nothing the Beavers on the side of Beavers they can do, and they will watch their bot lane get taken down. The tier 1 turret will not fall just yet. Herald But yeah, the Vanguard comes in always just a step late. And yeah, they really need to do something here because the bot lane here is just getting four-manned for the majority of this game.
And I don't know what to say. Both teams are making fumbles. I mean, the Herald placement was a little off. The dive going pretty well. I mean, 2-for-1's fine. You're obviously getting 2 plates out of it. I feel like Wukong possibly could have lived there. Malzahar having control over the top side. Vi is kind of just sat here and letting Wukong do as he pleases. And again, those concerns are becoming bigger and bigger. This gold lead now at 5k at 14 minutes into the game, and I think Beavers have to make a play, you know? I think they have to... Oh, is they gonna dive mid? No? Okay, we're fine. We're fine. I'll root for Beavers. I'll do it. I'll root for them. No,
Well, it's time to throw all that. Well, I mean, they need some kind of caster support, but because I mean, they are just simply not cutting it on the rift.
Very good
the
smite
jungle
going out
invade, like
Sundara.
yeah, like Sunner is just walking in enemy jungle
And a
like
fighting
his
ball.
own house. Sunner will be focused down, but suppression goes down onto Unmade. Vi will be taken down again. I've not seen one Season Disease ultimate comes in. A cage will trap them down for a little while. The damage goes down. Ken trying to walk away. Sunder will be able to put out some damage, but here Cholulu is in the support. Will be able to go on for, but no harm, no foul at the end of the day. Scoreline 1-7. Just
There's
yeah,
so much
Beavers is
going
on the
on.
back foot.
And the encore.
Encore goes in. A beautiful combo come in, but Tavares try to make her 1-for-1, not be able to do so. And Megador's rocket flashed away from. So again, yeah, one more fallen soldier from the side of Beavers, and they are staring down bottom of this barrel, trying to make something happen.
Oh boy.
Just collect your anger, you know, don't. Yeah, no foul language on stream. This is VL policy. This is the first season he sees goes all the way forward. We'll be locked up in the chopper. Please take that. He cannot do it. The movement was not gonna save himself, and one more rocket. Dorman takes down that kill. The bottling 2v2 flashing the emote in style in front of their faces because they have nothing to fear at this moment.
Honestly, I think Beavers need a bit of a TSM chant going on now. They need some sort of support. Like I said last game, this fear keeps growing bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. This gap, this gaping hole in the rift for them, as their bank accounts are just dwindling. They're buying items, they're trying to come on the rift, but it's almost like they're getting robbed. They're struggling. They don't know what to do next, and they're not even attempting to try and be creative with it. I mean, there's been multiple times where Vi could have just attempted to top it. Well, they're looking for a catch onto the Veigar.
Jesus Christ, Veigar is locked down, flashes away from. The rest of the team is here, but Kassadin comes in from downtown. 2 quick kills, goes over, flashes forward. He's still one more. Will be locked down by the turret. Vi is still looking for it. One more turret shot takes him very, very low. Will be able to rift walk away, so still safe inside the end of the day. The Olaf is looking. The Vi will go
very nice
until Lulu takes him down with a rift walk. So that's another kill. 3 quick kills in the mid lane. Olaf here looking for members, looking for anyone to throw these axes to. But Seraphine will be able to walk away. Still have the support if he's top laner there. We'll be taking down first turret. But there will be a pause. Yep, so, coming out.
While we're in this pause, I think it's a good time to really speak about what's going on here. Beavers have drafted this early pick Vi and still not been able to find a very good cease and desist, a very good catch into the draft of Stack Deck. And I think the longer this game goes on, the more this Vi is going to suffer and suffer and suffer, and it really is becoming the point of, if Stack Deck get this top tower, get this mid tower, try and pressure this Herald, they are slowly going to get closed out of this game. I think it's going to be too late for them to pull the switch. And I think when this Vi comes up, when this Veigar comes up, they're going to have to look for a pick. They're going to have to try and get some of these bounty goals off of the Jinx, off of the Wukong especially. I mean, if we can affect this bot lane anyhow, just like they tried to do in bot lane, they've got to all be there. They've got to have the Varus, and I think they're slowly running out of ways back into the game. Obviously, you can try and hope that Stack Deck make a mistake, but as we've seen from the first game alone, as we've seen throughout this game, they're barely making any mistakes. Well, not enough that they can capitalize on it, I would say, as Varus looking for the poke. Misses.
Here's goes a little bit wide. Still have the Rift Walk, can just get away easily anyways. There is a pause on my screen as well, so we're just making
they
sure.
paused again? Yeah, I think they paused again.
Yeah, so just making sure we are returning to the game in good time. But yeah, I think like you said,
we're back.
yeah, right, we are right back into the game, and yeah, we shall see. Again, there is, well, again, we are always looking for these silver linings. What is the slimmer of hope we have for Beavers? And yeah, they are down 8,000 gold here, but a lot of that is standing gold. They have a large amount of these bounties on the top tier 1 turret is almost getting taken down. They have a lot of bounties, all bounties across the board for the side of that deck. So if they can collect that kind of money, they can actually shorten this gap in terms of their wallets very rather quickly. So that is something they can focus on. They have a lot to do with the burst damage coming out from the Vigar, the Season Disease lockdown, and the Chain of Corruption. All can offer very easy tool to take down one singular member, to give them that extra little bit of gold injection, to give them more items, a little bit more ability to fight straight on with the side of Stack Deck, but that is not happening now. You can see actually looking for something. Riftwall forward, want to catch out this Vigar, still have the cage, has to get away, but the rest of the team is piling onto here. Here comes the Olaf, goes onto the front line, still have his ultimate, will be popped. 1 versus 3, flashes away, not be able to do so. Taking a little bit more than he can chew, will be taken down. A piece of arrow goes across. Good damage for good measure, but the tier 1 mid turret for the side of Beaver is looking very fragile. Will be taken down here. So tier 1 across the 3 lanes all taken down for the side of Stat Deck.
And again, the start of that fight just looking very messy. You've got 3 people in the river and 2 people in mid, and just being caught out again. They're not. I mean, they could have looked for a pick onto that Malzahar, onto that Wukong, and just given up Vagar, but instead they're wanting to pull back, wanting to 5v5 against a team that's almost 10k gold ahead at this point, and like I've been saying, it's looking darker and darker. Those eyelids are starting to shut, they're becoming sleepy, they're on edge, they're giving into their emotions, and I think if there's anything they can do, they've got to look for a pick, they've got to catch these bounties, and they've got to try and affect the map in any way they can.
Yeah, I mean, as we run to another pause, I believe is the support rage quitting the game effectively. So we are waiting for him to come back. And yeah, I mean, I think as if we've seen anything from this past 2 games, from the past hour, I think, yeah, like Stat Deck, they are a team with precision. They are a team with great communications, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. So for the side of Beavers, you cannot sit around, wait there, and see, just waiting, hoping miracle to happen, hoping one member of the Stat Deck somehow wander into the wrong place, because they do not do that very, very often. So for this, you just need to make your own play, create your own opportunities, and again, you have the tools to do so. Long range engage from the side of Varus, from the side of Vi, and you just need to pull the trigger. Sometimes it might not be the Grand Slam, you might not win everything, but you might take one member's bounty, 1-for-1 trade is still good for you. At this point of a game, you need to look for anything. That's the sort of courage they really need now to have any chance to stay in this game and stay in this series.
And I think that's well said, that is kind of what they've got to do. I mean, any little bit of advantage they can gain from vision to positioning to blowing a summoner spell or having correct wave management, they've got to try something. Otherwise, I think it'll go the same way that Game 1 did, where they got this far behind, Stack Deck looked unstoppable, they tried to make a play, but it was too late. They were too far behind.
Yeah, so like again, you can see the enemy team already grouping up around the Baron. They do have a ward, so they spot out this is actually happening. But walking through this choke point is gonna be so hard. The Encore up and ready on the side of Seraphine is gonna be so deadly. They have to be really careful. Olaf first man through goes in. 5 men strong from the side of Stack Deck. They want to fight this. They want enemy team to go in. The piercing arrow, good damage, but we'll be able to just get the Baron. Do they want to look for the play here? Suppression comes out of the Veigar. The cage is for good measure, goes in. Actually, the Wukong taking a lot of damage. Lulu has to get himself out of here. The rest of the team is disengaging. Can Stack chase onto this? The Olaf on the front line will be taken down. Another cage gets in. Riftwalk goes forward. Want to take down this kill. One more W. Will be able to do it. Riftwalk forward. Can he get away? The Vi want to look for a kill. Not able to do so. Chompers sealing those exits. And that's going to be 5-member intact for the side of Stack Deck. Taking down Baron plus 2 members just for the appetizer.
It almost looked good for Beavers. Again, it happens again and again and again, and it looks like they're going to be handed an apple, and instead they're not. They're handed something a little more disgusting, but again, they've got 2 dragons ahead. They've got at least 50 minutes if you play these waves properly to try and scale into the game. I mean, I think it's their only hope, unless they manage to get a pick onto this Jinx, knowing that she doesn't have flash for about a minute and a half more. And again, they need to just not give up. They need to play on these waves, they need to try and get these bounties on top as Olaf is trying to push as hard as he can in the top side, knowing that Dragon's going over.
Yeah, I mean, 5 members of the enemy on the bot side, so Olaf just take that with a bounty on top as well. Will be good injection for the rest of the team, so he will be able to just do that. The bot lane, enemy lane pushing in. The Varus is just filling his limit in terms of wave clear. This is going to be quite hard for him. The Veigar is holding bot lane as well. They have to concede this 2 tier 2 turret together with the Herald on top as well. And the Encore actually hits on a Varus. Can they actually take down this kill? Will not be able to do so. The Jinx didn't really step up. Have the Megadeth rocket, but here comes the suppression. Lock down to Veigar. The Wukong didn't really actually go in. One more spell, we're able to do it, but here comes the rest of the cavalry. They take down this kill. The Wukong uses the ultimate, but the rest of the team piles down to him. The exhaust goes down, but there's no damage. There is no damage. It took 5 years and trying to take down the kill, but they were not able to do it. Goes across the screen. Will be taken down. The Janna, the Viger, and the Olaf all dead on the same screen. 2 members strong. They are not making for the last stand. Flashes forward. They wanted the last kill. Kassadin Rift walks forward, putting down damage. Jinx will be able to take down that kill. And yeah, that's the conclusion of the game too. As sudden as it is, and we're not expecting the Baron Puff empower minions, pushing them to victory.
And I mean, we started off this matchup saying it was David versus Goliath, but really, Beavers have just been stomped. They have been crushed. They have been, without a lack of better words, completely dismantled. And it was looking like they had some hope in both games where they tried to make a play. They tried to crawl back into the game, but it was just too late. And I don't know if it is the draft decisions. I don't know if they can really point the fingers at not pulling the trigger or managing the waves, but it's just been a masterclass of a performance by Stack Deck, and I would say an underwhelming performance from the Beavers.
Yeah, I mean, well, in the end of the day, we are being just impartial and honest and just giving it what it is. I mean, it is a valiant effort, but there wasn't a lot of moments in the games that, where as casters, as spectators, we actually believed that, Beavers are making a move. It just seems like they are absolutely on their back foot, getting pushed around, wherever the enemy opponent pleased. So yeah, again, a lot of things, this is a good learning lesson, if anything, a lot of things to think about, a lot of things to work on, team communication, team identity, and hopefully they will come back stronger. But for now, they are going to, I believe, the losers bracket, so they will have more, they will have more chance to redeem themselves and maybe eyeing for a rematch. But right now, Stack Deck is moving on to the playoffs, and they are ready for more competition.
And like you said, there is at least 3 more spots left in that playoffs. And we can only hope the Beavers bounce back. Take this loss, take your defeat, look at your replay, try and figure out. I mean, even if you listen to this cast, try to figure out where things went wrong, what you could have done better, where you can attack your next team in places you didn't manage to find in Stack Deck. There were a lot of good, there were a lot of opportunities that I saw them going for, but they weren't strong enough or they were too late to the play. And I think I'm looking forward to see what Beavers can bring if we see them again. Obviously, I don't know if the next game will be streamed, but I am looking forward to see if they can make those adaptations, right? But we do have to praise Stack Deck for a very, very clean and swift 2-0. Both games being up 15 to 20k gold by the end of it. And I'm at a loss for words. I'm very well played.
No, I mean, very convincing. They know what they want to do. And yeah, just again, looks like another day in the office, another easy win series for them as well. Yeah, and now we have an interview scheduled right after this. We are having a jungler for the side of Stack Deck joining us very, very soon. And yeah, are we ready to pull them in?
I am 100% ready if you are.
Let's do it.
Yo.
Hello.
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 How's everyone?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm chilling. I'm buzzing.
I think I'm buzzing after watching that performance, honestly.
Let's go.
So I'll start off this interview. I'll ask some serious questions. What was going into your minds going into the second game after convincingly taking down Beavers in the first game? Can you give me a bit of insight?
I'm not really sure because I wasn't here until I wasn't there until draft started because we just all split up. I had to eat some food, like top lane went to get some water. So I was also watching the end of the last stream. So honestly, I don't think we really cared going into the second game. Like we didn't have any pressure on us. We were just chilling, ready to win.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, it doesn't look like you guys really need to break a sweat. Two very convincing wins. I think the first game was 22 minutes, second game was similar around that. And yeah, so again, I like there didn't leave too much questions to be asked. Your guys' performance are absolutely brilliant across the board. So I mean, it's just it will be quite interesting to hear about your thoughts on the draft and stuff like that, especially for the second game. It got us casters quite confused at the start, and when you guys decided to flex that Malzahar on the top lane. So yeah, is that something that you guys practice? Because yeah, Malzahar is is that something you guys practice and you guys talked about, and what's the thought process behind that?
Well, I'm pretty sure it's our mid laner's most played, and he really wanted to pick it.
Yep.
But we played it before in the top lane. I think it was in our first series that we played it. So we knew we had that opportunity to flex it already. So then we saw the Veigar pick, and then we said, oh, Kassadin's open. Free game, free low. So, and we scaled up. Well, he scaled really fast because he got an early blue buff, and then Kassadin ran rampant on the game.
I will continue on that question. Did you find any, or did you fear any sort of concern that they could start drafting some more CC for the Kassadin? They could draft something to match that Malzahar in case it went either top lane or, as we were saying on the cast, in draft select, it could go support. I mean, tell me, was there any fear?
Well, there was a bit of fear because we weren't meant to pick Kassadin on 4. We were meant to pick Kassadin as last pick and pick Seraphine on 4. But we had a bit of miscommunication, so that way they got a counter pick top lane, but it didn't really matter in the end. Like, I was a bit skeptical when I saw the Olaf top. I was a bit scared. And then as soon as we got into game, my mid laner said, well, top lane's losing lane, mid lane's, I'm not going to be able to do anything early, and bot lane's just bot lane, so good luck, jungler. So, and it turned out well.
And yeah, I mean, from the difference in game one where you had, I won't say it any differently than I see it, but 3 winning lanes and a ganking jungler into 3 losing lanes and a farming jungler, it did feel that all eyes were on you to make something happen, and you did. I mean, there was a bit of blunder from, I mean, both teams, but it did look a bit rough, especially into Olaf. If that dive doesn't happen level 2, it could be a little harder for Malzahar to play this game.
Yeah, no, that's true. Like, I think that dive was happening, and we noticed Vi had only like 8 CS, and then since they didn't get the kill, they just lost everywhere on the map. I think that actually started the steamroll overall because Vi fell too behind. Olaf couldn't all in Malzahar anymore.
I agree. I think if either team falls behind, it's very hard. Neither of you have a designated front line into what seems to be 2 pick comps to kind of, whoever gets the first kill or whoever gets slightly ahead will just slowly win the game. And I think he played it well enough to pull it off. So very well.
They did get 2 dragons though. Props to their Vi. The
Aye.
first dragon they got, I didn't expect them to be on Drake. I guess we had no vision. But then the second Drake, that was my fault because I tried to smite and then timed the Q with it. But my Q was a bit too slow, and then Var's arrow reached it and stole my
Yeah.
Drake.
Yeah, I mean, we've like world champions got Baron stolen by Varus Q, so I wouldn't really be too hard on yourself on that one. But yeah, no, I think they did put up a respectable, a little bit more fight in the second game, I think, and the composition changed a little bit. But you guys responded it in stride, and it's a great performance coming out from you guys. So yeah, just sort of like looking forward. Now you guys are officially in the playoff. Yeah, how do you feel? Like, do you feel confident? Do you have more preps to do? What do you think?
Well, I'm pretty sure there's only one team in, and then it's gotta be Paragon 6 that can actually match us
Ooh, very
somewhat.
confident. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not too scared because we're doing very well in scrims, so we should be fine. However, I do have a track record of losing finals whenever I reach them, so hopefully that doesn't happen this time.
Well, you wouldn't be the only one. Many of the great players do. But yeah, now you don't have to worry about it. Now enjoy the win. I think that's been a great evening. Hey, Amy, do you have any more questions?
No, I'm quite happy with the interview. I think just a second congratulations to you guys. Well played tonight, and I hope
Thank
to
you.
be able to cast more of, well, I mean, your playoffs games now, but yeah, very well played tonight, and thank you for coming to speak to us.
Yeah, just
All right.
before we go, do you have any shout outs to give your teammates, your coach, just give him some
Yeah.
love.
I want to give a shout out to you guys because you casted this game. That was absolutely
Aww.
amazing.
Oh.
I think it was our first streamed game this split, and then I want to give a shout out to our main support, Chris, who couldn't make it because his PC boomed up, but Dormin got him covered. So shout out to my whole team actually, and that's it basically. No many other shout outs I want to give. Nah, just my
That's
team.
That sounds fantastic.
Well,
And you guys keep it tight, and we will be definitely keeping an eye on you guys for more fantastic performance to come. Thank you very much for joining us, man.
thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so that is the stream for today. It's been a quick one, but I mean, both of us really enjoyed that. So again, thanks for joining us, and yeah, Amy closes out.
Well, thank you for having me. I have appreciated it. It has been a bit of a blast performance from the side of Stack Deck, and it makes me wonder what else we'll see in the next stream game, what else we'll see for the rest of playoffs in Division 1. I am looking forward to even seeing some of the Division 2 games, but we really will have to see. So that is it for me. I think that's it for you. So thank you for coming to the stream, guys.
Thanks for joining us. We will see you around.
Ta-da!